version, he loses that one.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're going from with that, but Poseidon just seems a lot more nimble and a lot more character familiarity. That is the other point about new cameos. All right. I'm sorry, new characters, but we do know that NetherRealm does have a habit of buffing these characters to high hell after the first patch. We saw it with Quan, we saw it with Takeda. We've seen it happen pretty often.
Yeah, a lot of times with guest characters, it's the opposite. When they come out overpowered because they want to sell them and then they nerf them. But keep with them.
I hope they do T1000 justice, man. I love that character. And you have my boy Robert Patrick voicing him. You gotta do something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, but this is gonna be his
the
last
best
stand.
movie villain.
Oh, without a doubt, man. And let's see, the chop is gonna be no good. Takinada immediately entering back.
Oh, the micro.
Look at the side switch as well. All right. And B, what I do see you sent that invite out. I will be ready for you versus Kompa.
Sorry, that's from the tech base.
Yeah, look at the pressure. Overhead and
And this, it looks like it's gonna do it. Poseidon taking out Takinada. Or is Kompa gonna be able to answer back? We're gonna find out one way or another. Poseidon really doesn't have to do anything right now, Robo.
No, not at all.
He can just hang back. And Kompa doesn't even have a fatal blow to contest this.
He's fading out.
And there's 10 seconds, Poseidon. If I'm you, just run.
Right.
But that is not the way he is built. He is going to get in there, and he is going to do the damn thing. That is going to be Poseidon taking it by a score of 3-1. Absolutely disgusting, and we like that. What's going on? I'm talking.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Poseidcast. Today we have some topics over here to the right we're going to be talking about and discussing over the podcast. So the first topic we're going to be going over is Conan. Then we're going to talk about Frostys, both the results and just the personal experience. Kind of talk about why, people should go to these offline events. I have 2A and 2B, and then I put 4. We're just going to ignore that and pretend that didn't happen. Then we got we're going to talk about the Pro Komp that we have coming up, a bunch of events that we have going on, and then we're going to have an update about the top 100. I'm just going to talk about what's going on with that and when we can expect that to be out for the 2024 rankings. Alright, so the first topic is Conan, and there was an update that came with Conan. It doesn't seem like it really changed much. It seems like Katana got actually a bit better, and I thought Katana was already pretty good. It seems like Reiko's nerf is pretty significant, and he's still a strong character. I don't think he's low tier, unviable now, but I think he probably dropped at least a few spots. His air command grab, I haven't really seen a ton of use for it yet, but I have seen a lot of times where his stars get countered by a projectile, and it works with every projectile beats it now. And the Raiden buff seems like it didn't really do a ton either way. I mean, I don't think he's really going up or down the tier list based off of what he got. I think it's a nice, but I don't think it really did too much to the character to really do too much. But we're going to talk about Conan, and Conan really seems kind of lackluster in the fact that he doesn't have a ton of sauce. He's fun to play as. He's fun to play against. He has really good normals. His frame data isn't amazing. He has pretty good staggers because it kind of leaves you further away, but still, like I said, his frame data and stuff isn't great. He relies really heavily on his cameos to get his combos going, because he typically has to spend multiple bars of meter just to get a launcher out, unless you get the 2-2 foregoing the sweep that kind of launches them, and that's not really, that's minus 10, so you can't just kind of throw it out there. You need to be able to hit into it kind of like a Serena, where you get the 2 hits, you do the back Serena, and then you can hit into it, or the Shujinko Crumble. I see a lot of people using Shujinko. He seems really strong with Shujinko, but I think that might be the fact that you can get a lot of damage with Shujinko, but Shujinko gives everyone damage. Sub-Zero is known for not getting much damage, and you will get a lot of damage with Sub-Zero Shujinko, especially depending on the character that you're fighting against and the moves that Shujinko steals. But Conan definitely seems a little underwhelming in that respect. He's pretty easy to zone out. A character like Sector probably wins the matchup 6-4 or 7-3. if you're able to you can kind of just run away from the character. His parry is incredibly committal, his projectile parry, but I think they wanted to use the counter. I think if they sped that up and made it so he can kind of like do it on a reaction, so you can't just mindlessly zone him out and he has to work his way in. I think that would make him a bit stronger. He seems really cool in the hands of a good Conan player. He can be quite scary, but I think right now, a lot of people are doing well with him. It's a lot of knowledge checks, and once we kind of figured him out as the community, I feel like he's gonna wind up as probably low, like the lower end of mid tier, or maybe the upper end of low tier, if not even lower. My boy Sparks recently went to an offline tournament saying that Conan was bottom 1. I don't know if that was downplay, but he's been one of the people that is really pushing the character, and it does not seem like he has too much going on, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's cool. He has stuff. The cameo throw move, it seems like it's relatively useless. There's very easy counterplay to it. Like it's supposed to be plus, and the knockdown's like absurd. But if you know the counterplay to it, I don't want to expose this for the Conan mains, so sorry, you're gonna have to figure that out yourselves for the cameo throw move. But he just seems relatively a bit underwhelming from like a tier list standpoint. From a fun standpoint, ton of fun to play, ton of fun to watch. He looks super cool. I think NRS did a super good job with him. I feel like he's like a buff or two away from being, you know, someone who can really contend in these tournaments. I hope they speed up the parry a little bit, maybe give him a way to launch for one bar, or you know, give him something, give him good stagger, maybe give him some plus frames or something. Like I said, he has good normals, but in a game that has so much sauce where characters can kind of just, you know, they get that one hit and they can kind of just take your entire life bar. Conan doesn't really have that. He has big damage. There's a lot of big combos that he does have, but I think that's typically with the cameos and stuff. And depending on the cameo that you're using, you might lose that, especially if you want something that's going to neutral assist you like Sector. You're not going to be able to get a ton of damage with Conan. So he's a cool character. I hope we see him more. There's people that have been pushing him. Said I'm actually in a group chat with Conan players, and they're constantly in there every day, pushing, labbing, putting stuff out. I've been playing a lot. Have you been watching my streams with my friend Precision Peter, who has been kind of washing me with the character. But I think that's more of me just not having the knowledge on it. I mean, and he's also really good, so he might just be better than me. But I did play Conan in a tournament last night and beat them, and had a lot of knowledge things like there's just things that if it's like good frame data wise, then usually there's a relatively easy answer to it that you can figure out with just some time in the lab. Cool idea. I think that I said they did him justice. He looks super cool. He sounds hilarious and good at the same time, like not in a bad way at all. Like I said, looks really cool. Has some cool synergy with characters like cameos like Suchinko and Serena, but that's really it. I think he's cool, but we shall see where he goes and if he's going to get any buffs or where he's going to fall on the tier list. Because at the end of the day, he's only been out for like a week and a half, so I could be jumping the gun with that. I think a lot of people are, but I'm just trying to give my opinion here. There could be some sauce that's figured out and he winds up being top tier. You know, I mean, like, how long did it take for Homelander? I mean, it felt like it took a couple weeks at least before we kind of figured out, like, okay, this character is insane. Like, this character is nuts. Like, Takeda is like, originally people for weeks or months even thought the character was bad, and then Lavender Rain wins a tournament with Takeda, and then all of a sudden now it's like, there's rumors that the Chilean twins, I haven't seen them play, and Nicholas Scorpion Props are going to be bringing Takeda to Pro Komp events, the Pro Komp Mexico event that's going to be happening later this month. So we'll see. I mean, maybe that character's strong. And I don't, like, besides the low kunai buff, he hasn't received anything too crazy. So we'll see. You know, it'd be usually too early to tell about how good a character is when he's just been out for a week and a half. All right, guys, so that's going to be ending the first topic. Let me know what you think of Conan in the comments. If you think he's a strong character, a weak character, do you like playing him? Have you not had a chance to play him? Just let me know what you think. I think he's cool, but I don't think he's really that strong. So we got the results. I'm going to go over top 8, and then we can kind of go and get into some pools, and we're going to talk about not only what happened, but what this kind of means for the players and stuff like that. So, definitely Busman won the tournament. Shout out to him. He went to a few tournaments, at least big tournaments. I mean, he's competed online a bunch, but a few like offline tournaments where he went to Frostys last year, and it was like a pretty good result, but not like this. he was like, it wasn't like a top 8 either. And then he went to Combo Breaker, and he had a really, really stacked pool. I think he lost to like Joystick and Xander and got like 65th, which is still not a bad result. And for the people he had to play was, you know what I mean, just had a really tough pool. But it definitely felt like he was better than his results he was getting. And then showed up here, and I mean, there was the crew battle Thursday night that we had, and he just crushed it there, and then showed up and just crushed him back and made top 8, and just won all his matches, beat Beancel, beat BNG, beat Rashid, in top 8 to win the tournament. So shout out to Busman, shout out to STG for sponsoring the player, sponsoring him. Super good player. No spoilers, but maybe having him on a future episode of the Poseidcast. So we shall see. We had Rashid with an absurd losers run. This dude lost his first match of the tournament to BNG. Goes through losers, beats a ton of players. Let's just go through his run real quick and see who he had to beat, because man, this dude. Okay, so he plays BNG, loses 3-2. That was a crazy set. And then he goes to losers. He has to fight Gal, I don't know who that is. 3-0, Mappin, 3-0. Has to play Aztec, wins that 3-0. Faded Soul, 3-0. Like, literally, Mappin, really good player, beats 3-0. Aztec, really good player, historically at least. Almost made top 8 attacking 3-0. Faded Soul, 3-0, who literally was up 2-0 on BNG and ended up getting reverse 3-0'd. Alex is Nasty, 3-0. Alex is Nasty is really good Cyrax sector player. Goes through like a ton of offline events, so he has a ton of experience. So he was able to win that, and then ends up being Hercules 3-1 to make top 8, where he goes on a losers run and beats Epic Zupa 3-2, which was an absurd set. Zupa almost won that set 3-0. Movado ended up tanking a back Serena hit, and you can't die from the cameo getting hit. So Han had like 0.9 damage, was able to get a punish, and ended up winning that game, and then ended up taking the set in a reverse 3-0 fashion. Ends up beating Beancel. There's a little bit of technical difficulties. Oh, the Zupa set was also the set that Rashid accidentally knocked over. Well, people like kind of stormed it because it was just a crazy, like really hype moment. So people were like, oh, and popped off, and I think they just touched the table, and some shit got, like the TV and like the monitor and stuff got knocked over. Stuff happens, not anything you really can control too much. Other than telling people not to pop off, which pop-offs aren't necessarily always voluntary. You're just like, oh, it's all the energy and stuff, because you're kind of sitting there playing the game. So, is what it is. Beats Beancel, beats Mist 3-0. Mist was on an absolute tear with that Homelander. And then beats BNG in the one back 3-0. Makes it to Grands, and I think he just may have ran out a little bit of gas a little bit, because like his pool is at 10 a.m. So you play at 10, catch to go in the crazy losers run to 12, and then you go with the wait till 8 p.m. You have to wait 8 hours to play again in bracket. And Busman was able to take the tournament. Shout out to him. So how many loser set was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. This dude won 10 losers matches to make grand finals of this tournament. Absolutely absurd. We had BNG. I think this was the big like standout performance, because I always talk about how like there's always someone who shows up who maybe they compete a little bit online, or they they go to their locals or whatever, and they don't have any big results, and they show up and just wow everybody. And that was BNG at this tournament, beating Rashid, going on to beat Faded Sol, went on to beat Hercules, to beat Uname, to make Winterside top 8, goes in this. Woolander beat me. Woolander kind of ran through his pool, beat No Green, Zupa, me, to make top 8. And BNG just kind of ran, just like would not let him get armed with Portal up, and just throwing those little Conans down, crushed it right there. BNG is absurdly good player and someone that needs to be on the map. Goes game 5 with Busman, not able to clutch that out, and then the set against Rashid, the run back, Rashid was able to get that. Third place, incredibly respectable, very, very good player, awesome stuff. We have that boy Mist, and getting 4th place, great run. I think he had to reverse 3-0 too easy in pools just to make it out. Beats plus 3-0, plus really, really good player, really, really good Kenshi player, and then able to beat Woolander. Missed. It seems like he's probably like the Homelander player right now. it seems like he's almost gotten better after Homelander got the nerf of his lasers now being mid compared to being low, so you don't get the mix-ups. It seems like he's almost gotten better. I don't know. We leave that to what you will. But dude's absolutely absurd. And then tied at 5th place, we have Bean Cell and Woolander. Woolander. Oh yeah, Mist also ended up beating, I think, was it Perfect Shinny, right? Let's check to see who Mist beat in pools before we go into the next wave. Yeah, Perfect Shinny. So Mist lost to Busman. Beat Next Gen Assassin. He had some good wins. Beat Next Gen Assassin. Beat Zentai. Beat 2 easy reverse 3-0'd, and then was able to beat Perfect Shinny to get that top 8. So definitely a big run. Good stuff for that boy Mist. Very, very, very good player. Okay, and then 5th place, tied for 5th, we had Bean Cell and Woolander. Bean Cell, the absurd Sundial Tremor player, ended up going Game 5 with Busman. Craziness. Busman was playing Havoc Jax a lot of the tournament, 1200 health, which is very, very tanky. 1200 health when you're, compared to 100 health or 1000 health character compared to maybe even 950. There's a couple times where Bean Cell got into like the last hit but wasn't able to close out the round. Busman was able to clutch it out. And then the setting of Tom Rashid, I'm not sure what happened. There was some like technical difficulties. He ended up dropping a few combos and they was able to give Tom Rashid the W. Woolander, made top 8, had that set against BNG. BNG kind of just wouldn't let him get any air. Just kept throwing those kunais, kept with the pressure, couldn't really get anything started. And then against Mist, he guys got mixed. There was a few times where Mist really, really clutched it out. There was an end where Woolander probably could have killed. Enzo actually messaged, who's one of the best quant players in the world, was like, if Woolander just did the optimal, he would have killed, but he didn't. And then Mist woke up with a low laser, or mid laser, ended up hitting him, and he ended up winning that game, which ended up being the difference in the set. That was a great set. Then we had Zupa, ended up at 7th place. Zupa went on a run himself. He ended up, lost to Woolander, and then in losers, he had to beat Ricky Yo, No Green, and me to make top 8. So shout out to Zupa, and then he almost beat Hamrashid. He almost 3-0'd Hamrashid. He was literally a hit away from doing it, but wasn't able to close it out. Hamrashid was able to get the reverse. That would have changed the whole bracket. And then Mist and Plus able to make top 8. Very, very good run on his part. Ended up losing to Mist. Mist kind of just got some momentum and just never let it go. Was mixing him up a bit. Plus was his run. Long John Cena, able to beat Vanity, able to beat Mist, the Natara player. Lost to Bean Cell, and then was able to beat Blackery Game 5. Blackery ended up losing to Mist earlier, so they didn't end up playing in the winner's side. But Blackery got the run back. And Blackery went on a bit of a run here, as you can see. Lobo, Turtle, Critus, Mist, and then wasn't able to make top 8. He lost Game 5 to Plus. But Pulse, very good run. Congratulations on that top 8. And that's pretty much it. I guess we can go to the pools right there. I just showed you that one. I showed you this one. I'll show you Pool D. We really liked that Pool A too. Look at that boy beside him. And then, I kind of fell flat. I actually got kind of bodied by Woolander, and I got kind of bodied by Zupa. 2 3-0s. I was one set away from top 8, winner's side, and then not even making it. It's what it is. These guys had a really close set. I actually wasn't able to watch the set. I was actually playing my Smash pool match at the time they were playing the set. And No Green went on a bit of a run, beating No Fro, Victor Freeze, and Bacon Lord to get to the spot where he ended up getting 13th place. Super Biss, that'd be Ricky O, No Green, and me to make top 8, as well as being Victor Freeze and winners. I think overall this was a really cool tournament. It was pretty stacked. Definitely, I don't know if we consider it a major. I would for MK1, it's a major, but a lot of people would say it was a regional. 80 players or 81 players, 80 plus players. And it was just an overall great tournament, viewership wise, player wise. It sucks that nothing before top 8 was streamed, but if you were there, that's one of the most fun things of going to an offline. I'll kind of transition into that. Go to these offline tournaments. One of the most fun things about them is being able to watch the really, really hype off-stream matches that you don't get to see when you are at the tournament, when you're out there live. You know what I mean? There's just these hype matches that lead to like top 8s, or that lead to making it out of pools, or like even the B&G Han Rashid set, which was the first match of the tournament for Han Rashid. That's something that's just going to be lost in the void unless you were there to witness it. I think Victor Freeze also recorded on the stream, so maybe he'll save that and you can watch it. And it was just kind of like on the phone and stuff like that. So, you're still not going to get the clearest view, but like that's just stuff that's going to be lost. These really, really cool hype sets. Like I said, this will transition to the point 2B. I should just put 3. I had 3, 4, 5. It's giving me those whatever. But yeah, just being able to watch that, and from a personal experience and from what I hear from a lot of people, this was one of, if not the most fun I've had going to an offline tournament. And this doesn't have anything to do with my like results and stuff. I think that maybe that played a part of it. I got 9th place, which I for a time was a bit salty with. I'm happy though, because I remember thinking back, I remember seeing when I would get like 25th at a tournament or something, seeing people be like, oh, I got 9th place, I would have rather 0-2. And I remember thinking like, dude, I would have loved to get 9th place. So then I get 9th place, I'm not going to be like, wow, I hate that. I wish I 0-2. I'm going to be the same guy that I was being like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't always move the goalpost. I think this was a nice step in the right direction. I was able to make a run, not get the top 8 that I wanted, but close. And I feel like I'm going to be going to Texas Showdown here in a few months, and maybe I can get that top 8. We'll see. Texas Showdown is going to be incredibly stacked though, so that'll be hard, but I definitely think I can do it. But just being able to hang out with the community, being able to see all these people in person, some people that maybe you've been playing online with that you get to meet in person for the first time. People are generally really, really nice. They're really cool. They're willing to talk about stuff. Like a lot of time you're just discussing like, oh, this character is really good. They have this option. Oh, you can do this against this character. When you play against people offline, like once you're done, like you generally have a discussion like, oh, you can do this. Oh, this works really well. Oh, you should try doing this the next time that you play this character. Stuff that you don't really get online. Online, you get like a GG's and that's it. But offline, you literally sit down. A lot of times, they'll be like after the match, the two people will be discussing. They'll be talking about what happened, or people even behind are like, oh, you have this or this option, or what happened there, or like, oh, is that's plus? You know what I mean? I feel like you're able to almost like expedite your improvement in a way faster offline than you can online. I mean, obviously, the accessibility of offline, especially majors, are not really there for a ton of people. So, it can be hard, but if you can go to offline stuff, you do so. Even if it's just a local, like a 6-man local, trust me, you'll see improvement, and you'll also like garner your community. Because I feel like I said this before, but if the MK community is a house, then your local is the foundation of the house. If you don't have a good local and stuff like that, then you're probably not going to have as A+ of an experience as other people. Like having a good local and then being able to play online and be able to go to majors, because like you get to play and meet up with people and you get that that friendship experience. And they said people are a lot cooler and chiller, way more willing to share things offline than they are online. Especially if you don't have a local, you're in an area where there's not many people, then definitely try to make it out to some majors that are close to you. If you can, if you have the means for it and you have the vacation time or whatever, or you have the free time, definitely do that if you can. Like I said, this was one of the most fun times I had. But watching the event on Friday was basically all just MK. You get there, and there wasn't a ton of setups. I wish there were more. Unfortunately, there was only 4, so you really didn't even get a chance to warm up for the tournament, let alone get friendlies on that first day. Second day, there's a ton of friendlies. Like, people were playing for, like, hours. But, getting to watch all the matches and hang out with people and meet people and take pictures and just have, the bonding experience in person rather than it just being all online or over messages and stuff. It's just completely different and so much fun and so cool and so humbling, and so the fact that you're part of something bigger. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just playing a game. The community isn't the game. The community is the people that show up to the events, that run the events, that host the events, that are there to just hang out with the community. It's so fun. That Friday was all just watching the sets or playing your sets, watching top 8. Top 8 was super hype. It was crazy. Busman ended up winning the tournament. It was just a lot of fun. And then, like, afterwards, we went out and KGE, the Kingsguard, a lot of players you saw in the top 8 or throughout the tournament were on the Kingsguard team. They had an Airbnb and they invited like everyone over, and we kind of like hung out there and played games. People were playing like MKX. We got to run some Mortal Kombat 1 and just kind of like hung out all night and just with the community. It was so cool just talking to people, and yeah, and then the next day, I was gonna host an episode of the Poseidcast Live. That's why I didn't post anything last week, because I was going to be recording at Frostys, and then we were going to make it. Unfortunately, I was going to collab with the Kingsguard, Copper, who's the coach of Kingsguard. We were going to like interview people there and just ask them some questions. It was really cool. We had it all set up, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the microphone things to work. I was picking up a lot of background noise. We weren't able to get it done, so we weren't able to do that. That's unfortunate. I actually ended up waking up early, so I was at the venue like early when like nobody was there. They were actually like taking down the MK setups. We had to go hunt them down. We ended up getting the MK setups back later. But we're just playing friendlies at the venue on Saturday, and then we ended up doing a 3v3 tournament. I teamed up with Mappin and Turtle. We ended up losing in the first round. There was like 8 teams that were 3v3, and it was a lot of fun. Team Kingsguard ended up winning that. It was Hercules, BNG, and Spinoraptor. They ended up winning the 3v3. They ended up playing in Grands, plus Krytus and Sipol, which was Team Sin, at least at the time. Team Synergy. And that was really cool. I actually was able to help put that on, and Hercules' girlfriend Bree was able to run the bracket and stuff like that. So shout out to her for doing that. And then also later that night, they ran a tournament at the KGE house, just a single elim, like first to 2 bracket with like all the people there, and it was they did it on a napkin. So if you hear people talking about like the napkin bracket, that's what they're referring to, because it literally was written on it. It was a paper towel. It was funny to call it a napkin, and like the bracket was made like that, and then it was kind of like a normal like you would see on challenge and stuff. I ended up getting third place in the napkin bracket. All I'll say, got some good wins in the napkin bracket. All I'll say, your boys on the come up. But that was super cool. The 3v3 was fun, and then after that, we ended up going to the KGE house, and we were all just sitting there playing games, hanging out, talking stuff, eating food, hanging out with the entire community. It was just so much fun. And then we did the napkin bracket, and then afterwards we ended up playing a game of Mafia. For those of you who don't know, it's basically like IRL Among Us, and there's 3 at the time. I think we played with like 20 people, so like there were 4 in the Mafia, and basically it's randomly selected. You all draw cards, and you're part of the town or you're part of the Mafia, and then people on the town have certain like abilities. So like there's the detective, so he can kind of point to someone, because like at night, like everyone puts their heads down and goes to sleep, and that's how kind of everything happens. And they get to choose, like point to people, and they'll be like, get a thumbs up or thumbs down, and that'll be like, if they're thumbs up, that means they're town. If they're thumbs down, that means they're Mafia. And then they have to kind of try to, without disclosing themselves so they don't get killed by the Mafia, try to like kind of like talk their way and be like, hey, like, drop hints about who it is and stuff like that. And it's all about like kind of trying to figure it out while nobody really knows what's going on, except for really the Mafia. Mafia doesn't know who the medic who can like save people, and the detective are, but they know who's town and who they are. So they kind of have a brief understanding while everyone in the town is just trying to figure out who the Mafia is. And people in the town, like everyone gets to vote, kill one person while everyone's kind of eyes are open. You kind of point at someone, and whoever has the most votes dies. And then at night, everyone like kind of puts their heads down, you close your eyes, and the Mafia they'll be like, okay, Mafia, there's like a moderator. They'll be like, Mafia, raise your eyes. So there's like 3 or 4 people, whoever's left goes up, and they kind of point to someone and they kill someone, and then they're like, okay, it's daytime, and then everyone's kind of talking and discussing, trying to figure out who the Mafia is. It's a lot of fun. I probably did butcher the explanation for it. We had our boy Dark Jack was the moderator. He did an amazing job. That dude, awesome stuff. Really, really cool guy. Shout out to Dark Jack for moderating that. Really, really fun game. Something really, really cool to play with the community. The Mafia ended up winning. I feel like I completely threw the game because I was town, and I was like, oh, I think it's this person. I was on like Bacon Lord and Sipol, and they were both town the whole time, and I was just completely off. We ended up losing. That Mafia was in the game that I played. I didn't get to play the second game. They played another one, but I had to go. Was Uname, Sparks, Zupa, and Blackery, and I had The only time I had a pulse on who it might have been was towards the end when I was like, it seems like everyone's piggybacking off what Bacon Lord was saying, and I kind of started siding with Bacon Lord at the end, but people kind of got me off that, and I kind of just dropped that case, and it ended up being correct. But that was towards the end, and I could have made a stronger case, and I was just kind of on the wrong people. The entire game, my reads were really bad. Yeah, that's what happens, but it was just so much fun, man. And if you have an opportunity to go to one of these events, man, the community is great. There's so much fun. Basically like a vacation. You get to play the game with all these people who care about the game just as much as you do, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's just wants to get better and just loves the community, and it's just such a good time, and I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait for the next one. I'm going to be going to Texas Showdown. So that's it. That was my experience. I ended up going home. I went back to my hotel stuff for 2 hours, then caught my flight home. Great event, man. Like I said, I can't speak more highly of going to that particular event, but I'm sure more offlines are going to be just as fun. All right, so we're going to be talking about the Pro Komp that is going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We have the first Pro Komp event that's going to be happening in Mexico. I know Nicolas, Scorpion Procs are going to be going. I think some people from Brazil, South America are going. Some people from the Mexico region. I think Chuleta might be going to his first offline. You don't know Chuleta. Chuleta's a really, really good player who's been playing exclusively online, but younger, so he's finally old enough to be able to go and travel to these events. I think he's coming. Sonic Fox signed up, so it's going to be an absurdly stacked event. And then the following month, we have Texas Showdown. I think even before that, we have Biennality, and then which is going to be in Europe, and then we have Texas Showdown, and then there's an event in Brussels, Europe. And then there's another event in Europe. I think Versus Fighting is going to be also on the circuit. So there's 3 events in Europe. Amazing stuff. I actually don't know when those events are happening. I should have looked it up beforehand. That's on me. I'm sorry. I'll leave in the description. I'll leave links to all the tournaments in the description. Friday, February. I'll put at least the month that they're in. Put that in the description as well. And yeah, so that those events are coming up. So we have Texas Showdown and then Biennality. I think Biennality before Texas Showdown. Those events in Europe. We have Combo Breaker coming up in May. We have CEO coming up in June. We have Evo that's coming up at the end of July. And yeah, if you win Evo, you end up making you make the finale. So it's like you regardless of what you've done previously. If you win Evo, you're in, and then you're kind of gaining points through these events. I think if you enter, it takes your 3 highest placing from those events. On top of what you do on online, and based off that, I think the top 9 people from there make it, plus the 1 person that wins Evo, plus the 10 other regions, and then there's a last chance qualifier as well. So if you win last chance qualifier or you win Evo, you are in, and you're competing at Final Combat. All of these brackets that I've mentioned, like the Combo Breakers, the Texas Showdowns, are going to have a $10,000 pop bonus as well. So there's some money to be made on the lines. All the people being like, there's no money here. There's the money, bro. Here it is. Go win the tournament and get your bag, So that's really cool, really exciting stuff. Everyone's exciting. People are grinding again. You see Sonic Fox is making some sort of Illuminati Discord full of top players, so they can grind and stuff like that. So shout out to all the people that make it into there. You're probably going to get insanely good at the game. And the Pro Komp is going to be so cool. It's going to be so much fun. These events are going to be awesome. And it's going to just kind of, I feel like, revitalize MK1. I feel like we're kind of already getting that, and I feel like it's just going to get better and better. And, potentially we've heard that there's going to be a Combat Pack 3. There's just a lot of stuff on the way. Shout out to the Pro Komp. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll leave a picture up of the Pro Komp events. I made a video before, but I'll put that up probably at the beginning of this just to show what events are going to be on there and when you can expect them. Like I said, in the description, there'll be the start GGs of all those events. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is the update on the top 100 ranking. So I have a group of people that I've been working with on this. So what we've done is I basically created a mock top 100, and then we kind of discussed it with the group. There's Uname, there's Bones, there's Sparks, and there's the Alphabet. And those guys have been helping me. They all made their individual lists, kind of derivatives of mine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to average all of them together, and that's going to be the top 100 ranking. We basically have that done. It's basically ready to go, and now it's just a matter of getting the graphics made, which I need to get the information over to my girlfriend, who makes all of those graphics. They look amazing. If you guys want to go back and check out the previous, I'll leave at the end of the video links to the previous top 100 video rankings. The graphics look super cool, and everyone, you kind of have like the ranking that you are, your character, relevant results, stuff, social media information, the team that you're on and stuff. It's super good. She does an amazing job of making those graphics. Awesome stuff under her. And yeah, we're going to be getting that done. It's going to be going out over the next couple of weeks. I wanted to get it out before Frostys, but trying to balance everything, which is like other content, the events I run, trying to train for these events, and just my real life. I have the situation a lot of people know going on with my brother, and that's kind of, we don't know when an emergency is going to pop up. He has his procedure coming down at the end of February. We're trying to figure things out, and, having a full-time job, stuff like that. It's just, it's hard to be able to get everything out as timely manner as I would like to. This is a big project that we work with, collaborating with more people on, and I hope it just gets bigger and bigger, and we're going to do what we can with it, and it's going to be out in the next couple of weeks here. I would say probably February 10th through like the 15th-ish, I'll have the video and the graphics made. So it should be a good time, man. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this episode of the Poseidcast. For a little bit of a sidebar, maybe I'll edit this towards the beginning, maybe I'll just leave it like this. But also something that I wanted to mention that I didn't put in the topics was what's going on with Floyd. If you guys have heard of him, it's basically like a hidden boss fight within Mortal Kombat 1 that you can essentially find by doing certain challenges. There is this guy that I think is the Thiny or something like that, something like that on Twitter. I apologize if I butcher it, but he's been doing a certain amount of work to the point where not only did he create a list of all the challenges that you can do, so you kind of go there, check out the list, do all of them, and then eventually you'll find Floyd. You get the Floyd fight, and then you get the really, really cool stage where it's kind of like the beginning of like where Shang and Liu Kang kind of meet, and in the original trailer, you get that stage. Looks beautiful, looks amazing. It's not like it's a little like not the most competitively viable stage, but that's not what it's about. And you have to beat Floyd. You have the Floyd fight. Floyd's insane. It's basically a combination of all the ninjas having all like a bunch of those special moves, but really broken, moves super quickly, has really, really absurd things that you can do. His frame rate is not even really known. Just good luck if you have to fight him, and if you win, you get the stage. There also is, he created like a website where you can type in, I think like it's your PSN or your WB if you're not on PlayStation, and it'll show you like how many Floyds you have, but even give you hints towards what ones you need to get and stuff like that. And kind of just shows like how close you are and so, and it just he just put in a ton of really, really good work. Shout out to him. I'll make sure to leave a link to at least his Twitter in the description, as well as the link to the list of challenges and the website that he has made to get Floyd. So if you're someone who's out there, maybe you didn't know who Floyd even was, or maybe you've just been struggling to find him, you have no idea, definitely check those out. They're really, really good resources if that's something you want to get. And it really just brought the community together and really showed that the competitive community for Mortal Kombat are bigger casuals than the casual community. I mean, we all just like really like the game. Like if we compete in it because we love it, but at the same time, if it was truly about like gaining something like status, notoriety, money, we would play other games because other games have that stuff, have more money, have crazy pro tours and really, really notable events. And if you're able to win like a Street Fighter tournament, like a big Street Fighter tournament, you'll get a lot of recognition. But you win an MK tournament and like not everybody is like the most impressed. Like I'm impressed, like with Busman, like absurdly good, absurdly talented, very, very just good player. But you know, I mean, it's just like we're here because it's Mortal Kombat. It's a game that we played growing up, and we really love it. And you know what I mean. You know, we take it seriously because we enjoy the game. We love pushing it, and competing, and you know, getting to be with the community. But at the end of the day, we're casuals for playing MK. Let's just be real. Let's just shoot it straight. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Poseidcast and the books. If you guys haven't already, consider subbing to the channel. We're going to be putting out a lot more gameplay stuff. I'm going to be making a web title guide very soon here. I know I've been saying that, but it's going to be made. I'm probably going to work on it today, as well as other things I need to work on, a lot of stuff. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sub to the channel if you have not. Like the video if you have not. And leave a comment about what do you think about Conan. Do you have any offlines you're planning on going to? Feel free to answer any of these questions. I'm really excited for the Pro Komp. And who's a player that you think should be in the top 100? Player that like maybe isn't as most recognized, like a Sonic. Like obviously Sonic Fox is going to be on there. But maybe a player that you know who competes, who does really well, who you think should be on there. If you guys want to do that, if any of those, put those in the comments. Greatly helps me. And I'll see you guys at the next video.